Welcome to Faith for Healing, a space where God lives, where we explore how faith can transform your daily life. I'm so glad you're here.
Faith for healing, make you stand tall. Faith for healing, conquer it all. We move together, we know go fall. Divine mercy will answer your call. Faith for healing, faith for healing.
We know go fall.
You know, when you plant a seed in a garden, you don't just go out the very next morning, dig up the dirt, and demand to see a fully grown plant.
Right, you don't expect a harvest overnight.
Exactly. I mean, you understand that beneath the surface, in the dark, silent earth, something completely miraculous is happening. It takes time.
It takes so much patience.
It really does. But I think most importantly, it takes the right soil. And yet, you know, when it comes to our own physical healing, we experience this really intense friction.
Oh, absolutely. Because we live in this culture of instant medical fixes.
We do. We take a pill.
Yeah.
And we expect the pain to just stop in 20 minutes. So when we apply our faith to our health, we naturally expect that same, immediate visible harvest.
And that's really the great tension of the healing journey, isn't it? We want the fruit right now, but you just cannot rush a harvest.
Yeah, you can't.
And you certainly cannot force a seed to grow in rocky or unprepared or anxious ground. Faith, much like biology, requires a very specific environment to do its deepest work.
That tension between our desire for an instant fix and the slow, necessary work of spiritual rooting, that's exactly what we are exploring today in this deep dive.
I'm really looking forward to this one.
Me too. We are reviewing week 6 from the Faith for Healing 365-day scripture content plan. And the theme for this entire week is consistency soil.
Which is such a powerful visual.
It really is. We are looking closely at the ground you are planting your faith in, because if we're going to see actual physical and spiritual restoration, we have to prepare the environment for it.
And that preparation, it really begins with understanding what consistency actually means in a spiritual context.
Right. So where does the source material start with that?
Well, early in this week's plan, drawing from Galatians 6.9, which warns us against growing weary, the text introduces this defining concept. It says, consistency is the soil.
Consistency is the soil.
Wow.
Yeah.
It gives us this incredibly stark visual that faith is a seed, and the greatest threat to that seed isn't the environment outside, it's actually our own tendency to dig it up with doubt.
I want to stop right there because that visual is just so convicting. Digging up the seed with doubt.
It hits hard, doesn't it?
It does. I think about the psychology behind that, why is it so tempting for us to constantly dig it up?
That's the million-dollar question.
Right. Because we plant our faith with this bold declaration on Sunday, but by Tuesday, when a familiar symptom flares up, we are mentally digging that seed right back up to check if God is still working.
Yeah, and we do it because in our modern minds, anxiety often masquerades as due diligence.
Oh, wow. Say that again.
Anxiety masquerades as due diligence. We think we are being responsible by, hyperfixating on our symptoms.
Like if I just monitor this closely enough, I can somehow control the outcome.
Exactly. But spiritually speaking, constant monitoring is just another form of doubt. It disturbs the root system.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, when you plant a physical seed, every single time you uncover it to check its progress, you expose those delicate new roots to harsh light and air, right? You end up stunting its growth. And the same is true for your healing.
Which makes the instruction from Colossians 2.7 in this plan so vital. The text talks about being rooted and built up in truth.
Yes, establishing those deep roots.
Right. It paints this picture of a massive tree with roots going deep down into the golden river of the Word. And the promise here is that when your roots are drinking from that river, the wind of a bad report cannot move you.
The wind of a bad report. That's such a poetic way to frame it.
It is, but here's the genuine struggle with that. A bad report rarely feels like just wind.
Oh, for sure. It feels like a tornado.
Exactly. If a doctor's office calls with terrifying test results, or a sudden sharp pain hits, that feels like a hurricane. So how does someone actually force their brain to treat a terrifying diagnosis as just wind?
Well, it requires a pretty fundamental shift in how we categorize information. Because when that phone rings or that pain hits, your nervous system is flooded with alarm.
Your body just goes into complete panic mode.
It does. And let's be absolutely clear here, those symptoms are real. The doctor's report is a reality. We aren't denying that.
Right. It's not about pretending it's not happening.
Exactly. But the source material makes this brilliant, vital distinction. Symptoms are facts, but the word is truth.
Facts versus truth. I love that.
Yeah.
Can you expand on the mechanics of that? Because it sounds beautiful, but how does it actually work in practice?
Think of it like geography versus weather. The weather is a fact. It might be storming violently right now. That is a verifiable fact.
Right. You can feel the rain?
Yes. But the geography, the actual mountain you are standing on, is the truth of the landscape. The weather changes, but the mountain remains.
Oh, that is such a good analogy.
So having deep roots means that you are choosing to anchor your nervous system and your spirit to the eternal mountain rather than the temporary storm.
Because a medical report is really just a snapshot of the weather in your body at a specific moment in time.
Precisely. It is subject to change. But the truth of God's word regarding your healing is eternal. It is the geography.
Yeah. So when your roots are wrapped around that truth, a bad report might shake the leaves. It might trigger a momentary human fear response, but it can't uproot your identity.
Right, because you are anchored to something significantly heavier than the storm.
So the root system dictates our stability. But, having deep roots isn't really enough if you don't know what you are actually planted in.
You have to know your foundation.
Exactly. You need to know what belongs to you. Which brings us to the next thematic progression in this plan, the concept of the covenant inheritance.
This is where it gets really powerful.
It really does. The material looks at Deuteronomy chapter 28, verses 1 and 2. And it frames healing not as a lottery ticket, but as a covenant blessing. It says this inheritance makes us rich in health.
Rich in health. That is just such a deliberate, specific phrase.
It is.
It completely elevates the conversation from mere survival to actual abundance. And the mechanism for claiming that abundance is found in Hebrews 10.23, which instructs us to hold fast to the profession of our faith without wavering.
And the source text distills this into a really brilliant, straightforward directive. It says, don't change your words because of the weather.
Don't change your words because of the weather. That is so profound.
It's a massive directive. But I do want to push back a little on the reality of implementing it.
Sure, let's hear it.
Let's be totally honest.
Yeah.
When your physical body is in absolute agony, when every pain receptor is just screaming, a covenant or a legal inheritance can feel incredibly abstract.
It can feel a million miles away.
Right. It's like you're holding a rope in a storm and your hands are just getting so tired.
Yeah.
How does someone actually force their mouth to speak life when their physical reality is demanding they surrender to the pain?
I mean, it is arguably the hardest discipline in the human experience. There's no sugarcoating that.
Yeah.
But this is exactly where understanding the true nature of a covenant becomes a literal lifeline. A covenant is not just crossing your fingers and, utilizing positive thinking to ignore pain.
It's not just wishing really hard.
No, not at all. A covenant is a legally binding agreement made by the highest authority in the universe. Think of it like holding the deed to a house.
Okay, holding the deed.
Right. If you are sitting inside your house and suddenly a stranger breaks in and starts wrecking the living room, that intruder's presence, the pain, the sickness is very loud, it's very violent, and it's very real.
Yeah, you can't just ignore a home invader.
Exactly. But their violent presence does not change the fact that your name is on the deed. The house is still legally yours.
So the sickness is an intruder, not the owner.
Precisely. They are temporary squatters trying to convince you that you don't own the property of your own health.
Wow.
Holding fast to your confession isn't about pretending the squatter isn't making noise. It is about refusing to sign over the deed.
I love that. Your confession is you holding up that legal document to your own nervous system, to the enemy, and to the illness, saying, no, this body was paid for. Healing belongs to me.
Exactly. You don't change your legal standing just because a squatter is temporarily making a mess in your living room. You enforce the eviction.
That just shifts the entire paradigm for me. I mean, it takes confession from being this passive, hopeful wishing and turns it into an aggressive legal enforcement of your rights.
It makes you active in the process.
It really does. But if we are going to enforce those rights and evict the squatter, we have to ensure the surrounding environment of our mind and body isn't actually inviting the sickness to stay.
Right, you have to change the atmosphere of the house itself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which leads us directly into the plan's focus on the environment of healing. We are moving into days 40 and 41 here.
Yes, the environment is critical. The plan moves us into Psalm 91, verse 1, discussing the secret place.
Such a beautiful passage.
It is. It uses this gorgeous, evocative imagery of the secret place as a glowing room of safety where no plague can come near. But it doesn't just leave it in the mystical realm.
No, it grounds it.
Yeah, it bridges the spiritual and the physical by bringing in Nehemiah 8.10, the joy of the Lord is your strength. And the text translates this for our modern understanding with an absolutely fascinating phrase. It says, joy is your spiritual immune system.
I am so fascinated by this phrase because we almost always treat joy as a byproduct.
We do. We wait for it.
Right. We think, I will be joyful once the healing manifests. I will have joy once the doctor gives me the all clear. But this plan is asserting that joy isn't the result of the healing. It is the medicine that actually facilitates it.
It's the catalyst.
Yes. So medically and biologically speaking, what is actually happening in the body when we force ourselves to step into that secret place and cultivate joy?
Well, this is where theology and biology just align so perfectly. We know from clinical immunology that fear, chronic anxiety, and stress literally pollute the physical atmosphere of the body.
They change the actual environment.
They really do. When you are terrified of a diagnosis, your brain signals the release of cortisol and adrenaline. Your body enters a sympathetic state, that's your fight or flight mode.
Which is exhausting for the body.
Incredibly exhausting. This causes systemic inflammation, it raises your heart rate, and critically, it suppresses your physical immune system. Fear acts as a biological toxin.
So it creates this acidic, inflammatory environment where disease basically thrives.
Yes. So by endlessly worrying about the sickness, we're biologically rolling out the red carpet for it.
Oh man, that is
cool.
terrifying, but it makes so much sense.
But here's the good news. Joy, true, deep-seated joy that comes from dwelling in the certainty of your covenant, it forces the body to do the exact opposite.
Okay, tell me how that works.
When you consciously step into that secret place, when you actively choose joy, you stimulate the vagus nerve, you force your body into a parasympathetic state, which is the rest and digest, or the repair state.
Wow. So joy oxygenates your spirit and your cells.
Exactly. It signals to your central nervous system that you are safe. And when you are in that state, your body is no longer wasting immense amounts of energy fighting phantom threats or living in panic mode.
It can finally heal.
Right. All of that biological energy is redirected into cellular repair, white blood cell production, and healing. Joy literally creates a biological environment where sickness struggles to survive.
So the spiritual reality dictates the physical environment.
Yeah.
I mean, by choosing joy, you are literally changing the chemical composition of your bloodstream. That is just profound.
It empowers you in a whole new way.
It really does. And it leads so beautifully to the culmination of this 7-day journey. Because when your roots are anchored deep in truth, when you are fiercely holding the legal deed of your covenant, and when you have cultivated a joyful healing environment in your body,
The only logical response left is peace.
yes, we arrive at the concept of Sabbath rest on day 42.
It is the ultimate destination of this week's plan. It anchors on Isaiah 30.15. In quietness and in confidence shall be your strength.
Such a powerful verse.
And the visual provided here is just stunning. It's a serene mountain lake at dawn. The water is like glass. And the explicit instruction given is to stop the noise.
Stop the noise.
Yeah. The text asserts that quiet confidence in the word is literally the most powerful force on earth.
Which is wildly countercultural, right?
Completely.
We live in a society that equates power with noise, action, and striving. Like, if we are sick, we think power looks like endless late-night research.
The 2 a.m. Google spirals.
Yes. Cross-referencing symptoms on medical forums, trying to play doctor, trying to solve the puzzle ourselves. We have this underlying belief that if we aren't frantically doing something about our problem, we are losing the battle.
It's a very hard mindset to break.
It is. So how do we practically stop the noise when that urge to strive is so deeply ingrained in us?
Well, you have to recognize what striving actually communicates. True Sabbath rest is the highest form of faith precisely because of what it demands you let go of.
Right, it demands surrender.
Exactly. When you are frantically striving, when you are consumed by those internet searches, what you are essentially communicating to your own body and to the spiritual realm is that you do not believe the problem is actually solved.
Wow, you are saying, I still have to fix this.
Right. You are still trying to manufacture the healing yourself. You are still trying to be the mechanic.
Because honestly, the fear is if I stop working, who is going to fix it?
Exactly. But when you actively choose to stop the noise, which practically speaking means closing the laptop, putting the phone in another room, and refusing to let your mind catastrophize the future, you are making a profound, aggressive declaration.
You are entering that quiet confidence by the mountain lake.
Yes. And in doing so, you prove to the enemy and you signal to your own nervous system that you believe the healing is already a finished work.
You can sleep because you know the divine physician is awake.
Right. He holds the deed, and he is on the job. Rest is not passivity. Rest is the ultimate active proof of trust.
Rest is the active proof of trust. I mean, what a perfect place to land as we look back over the landscape of this deep dive.
It really has been quite a journey through this week's material.
It has. We've explored a truly transformative sequence today. We started by examining the soil of consistency, learning that the greatest threat to our harvest is our own tendency to dig up the seed with anxious monitoring.
And we learned the critical difference between the shifting weather of our physical symptoms and the eternal geography of God's truth. We now understand how to grow roots so deep that a bad medical report simply cannot uproot us.
Yeah. And then we tackled the incredibly difficult discipline of holding fast to our confession, right? Treating our symptoms not as the owners of our bodies, but as temporary squatters who absolutely must bow to the legal deed of our covenant inheritance.
We bridge the spiritual and the physical beautifully, too, seeing how stepping into the secret place and choosing joy literally alters our biology, shifting our nervous system from a toxic state of fear into an environment of cellular repair.
And finally, we confronted our modern addiction to striving. We discovered that the most powerful weapon we have against infirmity is the quiet confidence of Sabbath rest. The ability to just stop the noise and trust the finished work.
It's so vital, and as you carry these truths with you today, consider this one final thought.
Oh, I'd love to hear it.
We are so conditioned to look for loud, visible, instant results. But nature tells us a totally different story. The greatest, most miraculous healing happening in your body right now might be occurring in absolute, complete silence.
In complete silence.
Yes. It might be entirely unseen, happening at a microscopic cellular level in the dark earth of your faith, just waiting for the exact right season to break the surface and bloom into the light. So do not disturb the soil. Trust the unseen, silent work of the seed.
To close out our week together, we want to pray over you using the daily prayers from this week.
Lord, give me the endurance to keep standing until I see the full manifestation.
Lord, deepen my roots in your love and your promises today.
Father, I walk in the blessings of Abraham today. Sickness has no place.
Lord, I refuse to waver. I stand on the truth of my healing.
Father, I hide myself in you. No plague shall come nigh my dwelling.
Lord, fill me with your joy until it overflows into my health.
Lord, I am confident in your power. I rest in your love. Amen.
Thank you for following and sharing. We appreciate your support. God bless you. You can connect with us on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram under Faith for Healing.
It's a beautiful thing. Join the family, hit that button, let the healing flow.
Faith for Healing, we appreciate the love. Like, subscribe, and share the blessings from above. Yeah, hit that subscribe. We appreciate the love.